And we're live. I have no idea how this session is going to go, but basically, I went on a walk today with my girlfriend. I came back and I was thinking to myself, and I've had this kind of mulling over my mind for a while now. Um, Nuxt routing is something that I used to not like that much about Nuxt, but I came to realize just how beneficial it is. One of the biggest benefits being that with larger teams, it's really obvious how to create new pages and everything's really nicely structured by default. And now, basically, I've kind of like totally flipped. All of my Quasar projects are structured kind of like Nuxt routing, but I don't have Nuxt routing in my project, so I still have to write all the routes myself. And so I was thinking, hang on, surely somebody has built a Webpack plugin or something like that that just does this for you, that basically copies the really cool routing that you get out of Nuxt so that you can use it in any Webpack project. And Quasar is just a Webpack project. Later on, it's going to be supporting Vite as well, but for now, it's just a Webpack project. And so I did a bit of Googling, and it turns out this is totally possible. In fact, I just need to find it on my phone because this is what I found it. Vue-auto-routing, I believe is what it's called. And this is actually built on top of another package. And they've also got a Vue CLI plugin for it as well. But this is built on top of another package called vue-router generator. And I believe this package's job is not to create the file. It just does the routing for you. So it basically builds the route file. Whereas vue-auto-routing is a Webpack plugin that's going to allow you to do this. So I thought, you know what? Let's do a live stream. I'm going to try and get this working in Quasar, which I'm pretty sure you can do because I saw some article online where somebody else had done it. And then when I've done that, I'm going to turn it into an app extension because anything that you can do in Quasar can basically be turned into an app extension to make it ridiculously easy for other people. So without further ado, let's give this a crack. So we'll say Quasar create, and we'll say Nuxt-routing. We might even call it Quasar Nuxt routing. We'll spell that correctly. And I'm just going to leave defaults here because this is just going to be a throwaway project. ESLint. Yes, I always use ESLint. It makes things easier. Vuex. We're probably not going to need Vuex, and we won't need Axios. So that'll be fine. And we'll go standard, and we'll use yarn. So next, I want to make sure I've got the docs up here and ready to go. So vue-auto-routing. And it looks like we just install it. And then we need to say vue use. Okay, so that's automatically done behind the scenes. So what are they doing here? Okay, so then all they're doing is basically putting the routes inside of there, passing the generated routes in. So what we could do then is just kind of merge the routes that we get with Quasar, which is cool because it means we can have both the generated routes and any other routes that we want to add ourselves. Then you just add the Webpack plugin. So, all right, this is really simple. So the Webpack plugin is basically going to create our routes file for us, and then we just point to it. Which would be this here. It's kind of funky, so that must do that in node modules. It must create the routes in node modules or something like that. Anyway, this should be done now. So, whoops, I just opened code. I want to make sure I cd into Quasar Nuxt routing, open that in code. And let's go ahead and look at how we might actually install this. And since I'm doing a live stream here, I can't use both my screens. Well, I kind of can. I've got it set up so I can move my mouse to the bottom screen and then you see the bottom screen, but it's not really a great experience. I'll see if I can do it this way. And if it breaks down, then it breaks down, but we'll give it a try. All right, so first of all, we want to add this. So let's copy that and we'll say yarn add. That's going to add in. And then this is the part where we actually use it. So I'm guessing I can just go to my routes directory here and basically put it in there. Now, I don't like this bracket coloring stuff that Quasar gives you by default now. So I'm going to go to VS Code, settings, and get rid of these two. Gets rid of that bracket pair stuff. Maybe I'll get used to it and start using it in the future, but for now, I really don't like it. All right, so we're in our routes directory here. I don't see any reason we couldn't just say, for example, ... and just throw the routes directly in there like that. So this other code, the reason I don't have to do this is because Quasar already handles vue-router for us. It already does that for us behind the scenes. So instead of routes here, let's say auto routes, for example. It's probably a better name for it, at least in this scenario. And we'll just put it directly in there. So I reckon that'll do. The other thing that we have to do is set up the plugin. So let's copy this here. And then we'll jump into quasar.conf and we'll whack that in probably over here. And let me just go to my .es lint file. I do this every single time I start a new project. I go out of Vue 3 Essentials and into Vue 3 Recommended. All right, so we've got the plugin. Now we need to actually use the plugin. So we'll say there's a, what's it called? There's like a Webpack. We've got chain Webpack. I don't want to use chain Webpack though. I just want to use normal Webpack. So let's see the other Webpack options we've got here. That's chain Webpack. All right, I don't totally remember how to do this. So let's go to the Quasar docs. And we'll look up Webpack to see how we can basically add extra Webpack stuff. Extend Webpack inside of build. So let's look up extend Webpack. It's not there, so we'll jump to build and we'll add it in here manually. Yeah, they're using chain Webpack by default, which is fine, but this only has instructions for extend Webpack, and I'm not a Webpack nerd, so I'd rather just kind of be able to copy paste what they got here. So we've got extend Webpack, and I believe you then get Webpack pass through. Yeah, we might just copy this code here and basically jimmy that into what we've got here. Config, and I think I then want to say .plugins. Yeah, there we go. .push. And yeah, we can now just put this plugin in directly there. So I'll basically just copy that, paste it in there. Part of the directory that contains your page components, source pages. Is that correct? Source pages. Yes, it is. A string that will be added to importing component. Okay. So this is their way of doing it. We'll probably just keep the standard there. Hang on, that will add it. I don't know if that's actually what they're going to write in there. So if that's going to say, for example, import at /pages, etc. Because if it does it that way, that's going to mess. That's not going to work with Quasar. A string that will be added to importing component path. I don't really know what that means. Anyway, let's save that. It probably needs a bit of work on the documentation there. I can contribute to that if it starts making sense. What else they got here? That's not related because that's Vue CLI. Lightweight layout resolver for vue-router. So that allows you to do the layout type stuff as well, which could be useful to add as well. So you can use the layouts directory here. And that's the lower level utility that's used. But we'll keep an eye on this because that might make sense to use vue-router layout. In fact, you'd almost definitely want to do that. All right. Well, anyway, let's just see if we can get this working for now. Quasar dev. Because with Quasar, you almost never do anything without a layout, just because we're building app type stuff. But we'll try it just with pages for now. Now, I fully expect to get errors because of my linting plugin. All right, so it's trying to resolve it by saying at /pages. So basically, we want to say pages because that alias is what Quasar uses. Pages / and then the name of the page. So let's save it. It's rebuilding the app. And I reckon it'll fix that problem. Because Quasar already has an alias for pages. All right, that might be stuffing up actually. So let's close the server down and start it up again. Another thing I tend to do these days is I jump into Json Config and I move these at the top here to the bottom. And the reason I do that in new projects, there we go, it's opened, is because otherwise the autocomplete will import from source slash whatever rather than component slash whatever. So if I want to import a component, it will automatically come from source slash components slash my component instead of components slash my component, if you know what I mean. So basically, it picks up the alias that's at the top first. So one thing I do these days is switch those two around. And I might put this above this sort of global view. That should be fine now. All right, so I should get some linting errors. Yep, fully expected that. And the reason you get this is because of that little style section there. So I'll save that. Oh, it's taking a second. And there we go. We got all green. And I guess the next thing to do is just, oh, actually, let's go quasar.conf. We'll change it from hash mode so we don't have this hash at the end to history mode. Not that that really matters. I just don't really like hash mode. It icks me for some reason. It doesn't feel like real web stuff. All right, so we're using history mode now. So technically, I should be able to just add a new page called mypage.view. Put a template in there. And let's just say here, my page, save it. Does it pick up on that? Nothing seems to have changed here, which is probably not a good sign. Slash, I don't know what that would then be, my page, like this. No, let's rename it to my dash page like that. We'll try this again. No, that's not working. Was this saved before I started the server? Maybe it wasn't. So we got our build section. We extend Webpack here. Let's check that's actually running by saying console.log running. I already know this is run actually because we hit that import prefix problem. Path to the directory that now we know this was working because that import prefix came up with a problem with the whole error thing. So my next guess would be that maybe we're not getting, it's not automatically reloading properly. So like the hot module reloading isn't working right. So let's just run the server again and we'll try going to my page one more time and see if that works. So this is a second to run. We'll say slash my dash page and it worked. Cool. All right, so the only problem now is if I create a new page saying, for example, other-page.view, it looks like, yeah, the server didn't respond at all to that. And we'll call this other page, save it. No, we're not getting anything happening there. Other page. So I just need to figure out how to get that working with hot module reloading. All right, so let's go to the Quasar docs. They've probably got like a section for HMR. HMR. How to manage HMR. Well, that's with the PWA. No, it's nothing in that. Now, I remember there was a discussion on this in Quasar. So let's say Quasar Nuxt vue-auto-routing, because I'm sure that Quasar had some sort of a discussion here. Yeah, maybe something like that. And what do they talk about here? Okay. Pro. Yes, now the routes are generated, but the SPA is blank. Try to implement vue-route. Yeah, okay. This isn't particularly helpful. You can't use path modules. No. All All right, this is all working for me, so I don't think this is particularly helpful. This was the feature request part. This person said this is working like a charm for them, so let's go into that. Something else going on in there too. That's a bit squishy. Oh, I can full screen it. I'm hoping that there's something in here that tells me about... No, that doesn't look like that's going to be helpful at all. In order to use route tag for per page route definition, you should add a JS file with dummy function. Okay, I don't know about that. Okay, so maybe there's something we can do to add a folder to HMR. It's not really relevant to me. Let's see if they say anything about HMR. There's something... Try to use... So, route generation. And what did Razvan say here? I don't have any access to that. So maybe there's a way in Quasar I can basically say, hey, there was a change in this folder. Therefore, I want you to, I don't know, restart the server. Let's try something like that. So if anybody knows any answers to this, by the way, then go ahead and let me know. Active listeners are awesome. So Quasar, I don't know, watch folder, something like that. The problem is, let me see if I can define the problem. So when I create a page here, the server seems to not be picking up on that. So it only runs at the first time Webpack runs. And the plugin isn't actually doing any watching here. So there's probably something I need to do to add some extra watching on top of that. Oh, here we go. We got some watch options in Webpack. That might help. Watch files and recompile whatever they change this. Okay. I'm not going to bother with HMR for now. I might try that another time. If we can just get it to refresh. Stop watching. No. What about in that example we got on the Quasar docs? I think I saw something to do with watching over there, and that was extend Webpack. Oh no, that's for app extensions. We'll just say here Webpack. Hang on, it was extend Webpack, wasn't it? Yeah, in the Quasar CLI section. I feel like they had a section that basically showed you... Oh no, it's got nothing to do with hot module reloading. Anyway, I might have to do some just some personal research into this to try and figure out how to get it to work properly. Hmm. The other thing I could look into is vue-router itself. See if vue-route generator options will help, but I don't imagine it would. Um, HMR, no, it's the other thing. I could come in here and look for something related to hot module reloading. Hot module. Nah. All right, anyway, I might end this stream, do a little bit of research on my own because I'm a little bit stumped here to figure out how we can basically make this reactive. So the problem is Quasar doesn't seem to have any knowledge of this new file. See, it'd be great if this route file was generated somewhere else. So what's happening at the moment? See, it'd be great if we could create, for example, an auto-generated route inside of this router folder rather than it sitting inside of, I believe it's sitting inside of node modules. In fact, let's dig a little bit deeper and find out exactly what's happening here. So we go to routes, there's view auto routing. Just for preventing compilation error of TypeScript codes. This view is resolved with. Yeah, okay. Right, so that's for TypeScript related stuff. Behind the scenes, it's automatically. So where does it put them when it automatically creates those routes? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to finish up this stream.